welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 24-year-old from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, and soon England and the chocolatey Manchester Storm. A staple and captain of the hometown Harbour Storm. He then, not the Chocolate Storm, folks, that's the Harbour Storm. He then headed to Halifax and was playing and running amok of U18, folks, in 2015-16. That's when I was hanging him up. Makes me feel old. Then he became a legend and champion with the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies, winning the Q and the Memorial Cup, and for fun, put up a point a game in the Mem Cup. Confirmed gamer, folks. Next season, they traded his ass to the Shed favorite Cape Breton Eagles. Think Dixon, Haddadi, and they retired Chris Culligan's jersey. He then had a budding career with the powerhouse Acadia University Axemen before and during all the baloney. So he decided, I'm assuming, to join pro hockey with the Maine Mariners and let the league know what's up, putting up 46 and 73 games and earned himself a call up to the A. He is now set to fly over the pond and run amok of the EIHL with a bunch of Shed guys and get showered in chocolate. Welcome to my Shed, Tyler Hinam.
What an intro. Thank you to be here.
Yeah, that was long-winded. That felt longer, you know? I had to add
that
few things too.
I thought that was funny. Funny you mentioned Cully. He was actually my assistant coach in Cape Breton that half season.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's a beauty, eh? So he was my kid's babysitter when we needed one in Cardiff, and he was my neighbor both years.
I guess Cully would be responsible enough for that.
Well, he still hasn't come to the Shed, so maybe he's, he said he would come on with Haddadi, and now Haddad is working for that team, eh?
Yeah, I saw he just got some job in the business office or something like that.
And I think it was assistant GM, but the part that intrigued me was part of his role was brand ambassador. Well, why doesn't he come
He's
and
a local
ambassador
legend
that
there,
brand here, right? Why doesn't he come to the Shed and get his brand out, Haddadi, right?
I think he's quite the local legend up there in Cape Breton.
I think both of them are, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon's a legend everywhere, I think.
I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, and I just saw him at Josh Batch's testimonial, and makes it a small world, doesn't it? This hockey world.
Very small.
Yeah, so I get into how we know each other. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I saw you signed with one of my favorite teams, the Chocolate Manchester Storm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, it will be. So we may as well get this over with right off the hop, because head of director of Shed marketing, Jake, is obviously curious, and so are all the other fans. What is your favorite chocolate bar?
I'm gonna go with Mars Bar. I think I said that I was on the Eye of the Manchester Storm one last week with Greg, and he asked me the same thing. So I guess I'll keep it consistent. I'll go with the Mars Bar.
So now the players are getting asked about their chocolate bars outside of the Shed.
I think so.
Jeepers, we're really starting something here, aren't we, folks? Yeah, it got pretty carried. I don't know if you know the story at all. Have you heard about what goes on over there?
I heard it's kind of after wins, and fans will throw them on the ice, and yeah, I guess it's a little tradition that started last year, apparently.
That's right. I had your new captain on, Critch, who's from out your way too, and so I had your coach on, Ginner, and the big dog Finner. And I liked them, and I've had on Finner's past teams, the Brayhead Clan guys, that he recruits Shed guys, and I think Shed guys know Shed guys. And then he names Ginner the coach. Then I have the captain on, and he's a dandy. And we talked about it because I'd had chocolate thrown on the ice in Cardiff. I'm like, I don't know if I can get anything started in Manchester. I'm like, I've never played there, but it'd sure be cool to start something. I'm like, it's a bunch of Shed guys, and winning is fun, and fun is fun. And then once things get really fun, you start winning more. And I thought it'd be interesting. And then the next game, Critch and the Storm went out, beat the Sheffield Steelers, and chocolate showered down from the crowd. And it was started here in the Shed. And then it's only for wins, though. You got to earn it. And every game it got bigger and better. And then they even had like volunteers with shovels coming out to pick up all the chocolate.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a new.
Right. And not everybody's been through stuff like that. I had not for a team I'd never played for. So I'm so into it, and how they supported the chocolate throwing and fun is I am now the sponsor of Captain Critch.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. His jersey's going to have a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales logo right there on it.
That's awesome.
So, folks, the way we're going to make that happen is I just had 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jerseys made, and we got one to raffle off, and all the money that we make is going to sponsor Critch. Right? So get your tickets at aleshockeytales.com if you want to support the Chocolate Storm and Captain Critch, right?
Right.
Because that's fun. So anyways, reading your intro and everything there, so makes me feel really old. So you were playing under 18 when I was hanging them up. That makes me want to puke.
Wasn't that long ago.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah,
There you
like
go.
you're young,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been 7 hockey seasons now. Long time, really. Okay. So I did just have your coach on. Ginner was episode 300 when we announced I was gonna sponsor Critch, but how did the deal go down?
I think it was over the course of a couple weeks kind of thing. And yeah, I think it was mostly through my agent. And then once kind of talks intensified, I definitely I talked with Ginner and stuff, and talked with some old teammates that were in Manchester and in the league and stuff. And you know, I heard nothing but good things, and it just made sense to sign the deal, and I'm excited to get going.
And small hockey world, and we got a great research team here in the shed. And I always say the way you end up places is people, you got to know people, and there's always a connection. So you played with a fella named Johnny Cornell, who is from Lindsay, Ontario, and Matt Ginn is from Lindsay, Ontario, right?
Yeah. Johnny was actually telling me that when, like, he was before I signed, he even texted me and he was like, are you thinking about signing in Manchester? And I was, because he was like telling me just from home and do him at the local gym. And I was like, small world.
It really is. And it's pretty neat when you've played with guys and you don't know each other signing in a place. And I signed in Cardiff near the end of my career. And then all of a sudden I find out Trevor Hendricks signed in Cardiff too. And we hadn't played together since we were rookies. And it was so fun 10 years later to play with each other again.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be cool to be reunited with Johnny, especially that it was 100% natural. Like, neither of us really knew until we were pretty much about to put pen to paper.
And I think Ginner knows who shed guys are, and shed guys know shed guys. And out, so it's interesting for me too, is I never played with anybody from out east really in my career that I know of, that I can think of, until I got to Cardiff and played with Cully and Haddad. And like, they were 2 of my favorites on the team and 2 of my favorite guys in the world. And then I get to know Dixon because I got naked in front of him one night and did a pregame speech, but that's a long story. But then I got to know him better at the testimonial this summer. And we just had a hoot. And I really like those Eastern fellas, you know?
You know, you got a good batch of 3 there for sure. I think your sample size was a good trio.
Right. I guess I got lucky,
Yeah.
maybe, or maybe they're not all that nice out there.
we got a lot of good ones out here, but you definitely got 3 of the good ones for sure.
So I guess here's a question. This is cutting edge. You're from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. I've heard of that town.
Have you?
Yeah. So you would be 12 years younger than Crosby.
I am, yeah.
And you're from the same town.
Yes.
So did he have a bit of an impact on you growing up then? Like, so you would have been pretty young when he's scoring like the golden goal and stuff, or were you like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, obviously I think for most kids in Canada, I think Sid's pretty much your idol and your role model and stuff. And I think it's almost automatic when you're from the same town. So yeah, I obviously looked up to him a lot and followed his career a lot, and still enjoy watching him a lot.
Yeah, and it's not just in Canada. It's like the original Shed Guy, episode 1, Dr. Luke Piggott. His dog is named Crosby, and he's from Wales, right? Or, you know?
Yeah, I think he's somebody that is easy to root for from wherever you're from.
Mm-hmm. So Cole Harbour, how big's this town?
Not big. Definitely not big.
No,
probably a 5-minute drive end to end, I'd say.
And there's a couple pro hockey guys out of that town, eh? That's cool.
Yeah, a couple.
So what's the best restaurant in that town?
Oh, I'll give my dad's buddy owns a restaurant right on Cole Harbour Road there, the Palladium family restaurant. I'll
There you
give him
go.
a shout out. It's a
Free
great
ads, folks. Free
yeah,
ads all day long in the shed, right?
the little Greek spot, but they have a
Oh,
great
they
breakfast
Greek
too. Yeah.
spot. They got some tzatziki going on in there.
Tzatziki lamb, some good
God, yeah,
seafood.
we just
Good.
met. Don't talk dirty to me yet, okay? Oh, that's right up my alley though. So I guess yeah, I got written down like how big of an impact Crosby was. I guess we talked about that, eh? That's pretty cool that he's from your little town though. It's like when I was growing up, there was a guy from Elmira, Ontario that made World Juniors and then played a little bit in the show, Jamie Wright. And it was neat to see a guy you'd see walking around town and be like, that's guys in the NHL, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, when you come into town, there's a big sign on both ends says home of Sidney Crosby with a big 87 on it. I think
That's cool.
that's definitely this town's claim to fame for sure.
So this is just came to my weird brain. Do kids wear number 87 in minor hockey out there?
No,
They
no,
shouldn't.
I think there's only 187.
Right. And like
Yeah.
you see other kids doing it and you're like, it's kind of like wear 99 and I wouldn't be doing
I was
that
gonna
either.
say there's kind of two numbers you can't wear in hockey, and
Yeah. Doesn't matter how old
I
you
think
are, you
87
think
and
it's
99
cool. It's over.
are two. Yeah.
Yeah. It's retired, folks. Stop doing it. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
here's more small world stuff. You also were at Acadia for a little bit, but you would know a fellow from the town I'm living in now, Kincardine, Ontario. Garrett McFadden was the captain.
Yeah, he was. He was there for my entire time there. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just down the road here, and he's going to like Slovakia now. You know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I actually played against Garrett in the playoffs, and I found that out. I think before a lot of people, we were talking just kind of after the series, and obviously they beat us in 6, so we were kind of just asking each other what's next kind of thing, and he told me he already had a deal lined up in Slovakia, so that's cool for him. I think he's going to enjoy that, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's a good player.
So I'm guessing that all the baloney that was going on, because I know Garrett left your middle of the season too there to go pro. So is that the same thing that happened to you? It's just all baloney and you never really got to lace him up for Acadia that much, eh?
Yeah, it was the exact same. I think Garrett left for a week and a half weeks before I did. I think yeah, there wasn't a lot of hope going on. We were there the entire year before, and we played one exhibition game or two exhibition games after being kind of told that we were going to play, and told that, you know, maybe in January, maybe in February.
Well, especially at that age, you guys got to be playing hockey if you want to be hockey guys, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I think I went that my whole freshman year without really playing, and then my second year, I got hurt in the first half of things were pretty normal the first 10, 12 games of the year from about September to December, but I broke my hand in the second game of the year, so that was kind of unfortunate for me.
Yeah.
So, and
getting
then
hurt's the worst.
Christmas time rolled around, and I had one game played, and things started shutting down again, and I just I needed to play some hockey.
You had to play hockey.
Yeah, I wanted to play hockey, and I was done waiting around.
What was interesting that you did do so well going to the coast as like an undrafted Canadian university player was I consider that time of the world to be similar to what it was like having lockouts when I was playing. It was the hardest time probably to join pro because there would have been a lot of kids in your situations and there were not many jobs, not even the full coast was playing, and there was league shut down, and like it wouldn't have been easy getting into pro and getting a job at that time.
No, I think I'm definitely I'm happy everything worked out for myself. Obviously, I think close to 60 players left out of the U Sports circuit there to go either to Europe. I think most guys signed in the coast, and obviously 60 guys didn't have jobs 2 weeks later. So some of those guys were the guys that left school, some of them weren't. But luckily I was able to kind of keep mine, and things worked out for me.
Wow, pro hockey's a bloodbath. And like I remember it even when not 60 of them all at once, but like as soon as the university seasons end, or even the OHL seasons end, and you get those young punks coming in trying to take your job, it can really just, it's a bit unsettling as the older fellas, you know?
Oh yeah, you're there from October to April, and suddenly there's D1 kids signing,
and then they literally come in and become the first or second line winger or whatever, right? And you're like, you haven't even been here.
I think junior kind of prepared you for that. So it's a meat market at the end of the day, and you got to perform, and
Yeah, that's what it is.
that's all it is really. So I
Mhm.
think as
It's
long
like
as
you
you're
got to earn your chocolate, right?
exactly, like these guys are going to come in, they're going to get their shot, but as long as you're doing your thing, I think you'll be fine.
Hmm. I agree. You know what I found, or the research team found? You've chucked some knuckles in your past, eh? There's a fight card for you out there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm known for it, but
But
if
when
it
you need to
if
muck
it
it up, you can and have.
yeah, I have. I think I definitely wouldn't say I'm a fighter. I think, but yeah, I think most seasons or pretty much every season I've dropped him at least once.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I always like to challenge myself every once in a while too. I got beat up a lot though.
See if you still got it.
Well, yeah, that's like when I went to Germany and there's no fighting. When I went over to the UK League, I told my wife, I'm like, before I'm done, I have to drop him once because I got to challenge myself and see if I can still do it. And sure enough, it happened. My second last game ever before my knee went. Guy got clipped in front of me, and I hung in there.
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily go looking for it as much as you just kind of snap sometimes and
Well, and you play with
it
passion, things
happens.
can happen, right? Or if someone
Yeah.
does something stupid to a teammate, then you have to do it. Then you want to do it, right? Anyways, where and what are you doing now?
I am living in my parents' basement
Nice.
until I head out to Manchester. I went out to BC for a few weeks to visit my girlfriend and her family. Got to see some of the west coast of British Columbia. We were in Tofino, which is a little surfing town up on Vancouver Island. We went over, went to Whistler, spent a couple nights in Seattle. So that was kind of my trip for the summer. And then no, I'm just back home, kind of training. I do some hockey coaching for like minor youth stuff
Nice.
for some cash in the summer. And
Yeah.
other than that, just kind of training and doing my thing and enjoying my time off, obviously, before obviously the hectic hockey season starts.
Well, yeah, you got to enjoy your summer and get
Exactly. Yeah.
revitalized for the next grind of the season. So
Yeah.
we if she's from way out there, I haven't had a love story in the shed in a while. Where'd you meet her?
At school. Yeah. She was playing volleyball at the, at Acadia while I was there. So
Gotcha.
we met at school.
So would she be heading over to the Chocolatey Storm too?
No, she's actually quite the volleyball player herself. So she's going over to Finland to play
Is that right?
professionally herself. So yeah, so she was in Greece last year. And then she's going to Finland this year. So
Holy moly.
I think she'll be around for Christmas and stuff and maybe some other short stints during the year. But yeah, no, I think she's looking forward to getting to Manchester too and seeing the city.
Well, that's pretty cool that she can play professionally after university. Like that's pretty neat. I've never heard of that playing
Yeah,
volleyball in Finland.
yeah, neither did I. I didn't know too much about volleyball before I started seeing her. So
Right.
I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching it at Western Michigan University, like all those D1 sports, like people are good at what they do. And watching those
Good to
girls
watch
play
for sure.
volleyball was wild.
It's a fun sport to watch for sure.
It really is. Yeah. Like when the digger like is all over the
Oh
place
yeah.
and then they're setting it up and they're fake spiking and it's hit the next person and man, it's nuts.
It's yeah, I've definitely learned a lot. Obviously got kind of thrown into a pretty high level, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's a pretty complex sport and there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so poster picks. So in the obviously there's the big sea of people. I always say
Yeah.
winning brings communities together, it brings towns together. And until you win and see stuff like that, you really don't know what winning is like, right? But is that the Memorial Cup then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that would have been the Memorial Cup.
And there was a parade, and then you end up there at that stage, or what?
Yeah, that was kind of after we had won both the Quebec League. We didn't do a parade after we won the Quebec League because I think it
No,
was
because
just
it's not
like,
done yet.
yeah, job's not finished. No, no. But it was only like a 2 or 3 day turnaround. So I think we probably enjoyed a night or two, practiced for a day or two, recovered for a day or two, and then and then we were right back to Halifax actually.
Is
Um,
that where the Mem Cup was? Halifax.
Yeah, so we beat Halifax in the finals in Halifax
Mm.
of the league final. Flew home for 3, 4 days, and then hopped on a plane right back to Halifax a few days later for the tournament.
So is both Q teams in the finals of the Mem Cup too?
Yeah. No, Halifax was the host that year, but they were a real good team. They definitely they weren't your typical host for sure.
Right. And so what was the best of 7 in the Q finals then?
6.
6. And then
Yeah.
what's the score in the just the 1-game final for the Memorial Cup?
4-2.
Jeez, you guys really ruined their season, eh?
Yeah, I think I think we definitely put a damper on the city.
No kidding. Too bad, but I hear Halifax is close.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes away from my hometown. So that was a really cool experience for me, obviously.
Oh, that's your hometown, right? Okay. I was Cole Harbour's right by Halifax. So you did all that right by home. So you would have had some family and friends there watching you break hearts.
All of them really, because Rouyn-Noranda, like the town I was playing for most of my career there, was about a 25-hour drive away from home. So they love me making that trek too often. So
did you say 25?
Oh yeah, it's like we would play against like Sudbury and stuff in the preseason. Like we were 45 minutes away from the Ontario border up in like northwestern Quebec. So
and you guys won the Memorial Cup. That sounds like a place a lot of people wouldn't want to go.
I think that's what made it pretty cool that we won, was I think the fact that
you're not the normal team, eh?
Yeah, we weren't like a big team that was paying all these imports and getting Americans. Like I think a few years before we won, I think the London Knights won and they had 13 Americans on their team or something dumb like that, where it was just like, I won't get paid.
Yeah.
Where no, like our team was honestly homegrown. I think 21 of the 24 guys were drafted by the organization. It was a really cool story. Kind of just, we built it up over a few years and it all kind of came to a really nice finish.
Yeah. And I find that you have, I don't know how to explain it, but to win, you need everybody playing the best they can do at their role. So what was your role on that squad?
Before Christmas, it was obviously a little more, and we made some moves at the deadline. And I was definitely one of the guys whose ice time and role was impacted decently significantly. They had a talk with me at Christmas time. They said, we're bringing in some great players. One of the guys they brought in was Joel Teasdale, who played his first NHL game with the Montreal Canadiens this year. Like he was one hell of a player, but so I think my power play spot wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I was more of a third line shutdown guy. So
and you were able to do that after being the power play guy. And I saw you still put up 10 points in 20 playoff games or something. It's hard to put up points not on a power play.
Yeah, it is tough. Like I think you love getting those cookies on the power play, and they come a lot easier for sure. But yeah, no, I think after Christmas there, I didn't see the man advantage too often, and it was more of a shutdown line matching role, playing hard, playing simple, and I think I was just
you were able to adapt though.
I was able to accept that.
That's probably how you win though. That's how teams win.
Best for the team,
Yeah,
like, I think Teasdale was probably going to come in and do my role better than I was going to do. And I think I could take that third line role better than whoever was on that role at the time, probably a younger guy. And he got shoved out of a third line role to up in the stands. So I think it could have been a lot worse,
Oh yeah, for sure. And it does take everybody to have a good attitude when things like that happen to win, and to accept what's going on, or else when people start whining and moaning, you don't win, doesn't matter what it's about. I think.
Obviously, like I do it again 1,000 times over, knowing the result of what happened. And then, obviously the next year I went out, was the guy, and I was on PP1, and I got the ice time that I wasn't getting the year before. And
and at those ages, every year you do grow a lot, and you're like, you become a much better player. Like I thought I improved the most from 16 to 20.
Oh yeah. The difference from when I first showed up to my first training camp, and I was like, there's no way I'm making this team. to like,
when you're just one of those kids and you show up and there's like the 19-20-year-olds, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. I don't got a piece of hair on my body yet, and there's guys with beards and 220 just running around like mutants. You're just like, what's going on? And then suddenly a few years later, you're so comfortable. And I don't think I was ever the big 220 bearded mutant running around, but No, you just it's crazy how you get so much better so fast, and you get so comfortable. And
You get comfortable by doing. I find that anything in
exactly, yeah.
life, the more you do something, the better and more confident you get at it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So no, it was a really cool experience. I agree with you. Yeah, I think those years were definitely some of the biggest building years of my career for sure.
Well, I may as well go with what I'm thinking here, though. So you guys win it, and
Yep.
then you are putting up like a point a game as a big boy, playing hard in the tough areas. So why did they trade your ass to Cape Breton? Were they a contender?
They were, yeah. We had
Yeah.
we had a really good team in Cape Breton, and then that was the year that COVID actually hit. So we never got to play playoffs that year. Got shut down with about 5 or 6 games left in the regular season. So I don't know what would have happened, but yeah,
You
no, we
were
had
right in that age bracket where, man, that would have been some confusing shit for you guys as hockey guys, man. Like I was all
yeah,
done and I was thinking, man, if I was a hockey player nowadays, and it didn't matter what age, even if you're mid 20s and you're a pro hockey player or like 30, everybody, it would have just been playing tricks with your mind, I think.
yeah. You hate to play the victim and stuff, but getting your last year of junior ripped away from you, getting a full year of college ripped away from you,
Yeah.
and then basically kind of getting forced into pro hockey before. Not that I was ready, but before I was
What you wanted
wanted
to.
to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it definitely could have
So are
came
you
at a
planning
better
on
time.
finishing school and did you?
I am. So I've been chipping away at it. So I think when I left, I had about 9 classes left or 10 classes left, and I'm down to 3 or 4. So
Well, that's good for you.
yeah, I'm in one right now, and then I'm hopefully gonna. That's kind of my goal, is to do convocation next spring. I'd like to get those 3 done over the course of the season in Manchester, and then yeah,
I,
I'll have my
I think that's a great idea.
yeah.
There's a lot of hockey guys that don't do anything during the day, and I regret it because I was one of those guys for a while. You can do so much more in a day, and you figure it out as you get older. But like, you can get so
100%.
much shit done.
Oh yeah, like that was one of the biggest eye openers when I got to Maine. Is you go to you go to practice in the morning, you put your hours in at the rink, but then even if you have a solid day at the rink, you're still leaving at 2 o'clock. And you're like, well, what do I do now? So
Exactly.
in pro hockey, there's a lot of free time and a lot of things you can get done outside the rink. So yeah, I think the past year and this upcoming year, I think I'm gonna try to dedicate at least some of that time to school, and try to get that piece of paper
Yeah. Well, I did
sooner
the
rather than
MBA
later.
when I was in Cardiff in that league, and it changed me as a person because I was doing way more during the day than I was used to, and then I was parenting on top of that. It changes you when you start doing a lot of shit. It's hard to not do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. If that made sense to everybody else, right? Okay. Next poster pick is you're holding then the Q trophy. Is that in Halifax as well? Then that's a big barn.
What
Yeah, you were holding a trophy on the ice in your Husky jersey. It was a different trophy than you were holding in the Sea of People. You know?
Okay, so the Sea of sorry, the Sea of People one, that's the Quebec League trophy. And then
Okay.
the one, yeah, I just brought it up here on my phone. The one on the ice, that's the Memorial Cup. The one that would have
Jeez.
been my gear.
Winners win, folks. you know. But yeah, that would have been fun. So, how old would you have been when you won it?
That was my 19-year-old season.
Okay. Yeah, the junior when you win, right? It's like some kids are underage, some kids are of age, and it's like, what are the rules here, right?
Yeah,
For
that was
drinking.
kind of a crappy thing about having in Halifax, where we did have a decently old team. I think out of the 24 guys, I think probably 20 of us were 18 or older. So when we were in Rouen, it was drinking age there is 18. So it was, as soon as we got back from
Right.
winning the President's Cup there in the final, like the whole team went to the bar. But
Yeah,
then
that's good.
we
That's
were in
hockey.
Halifax, and suddenly the 18-year-olds can't come anymore. And we so
So
we
Halifax has a different age than okay, there'd be 19.
yeah, Quebec and Alberta are 18, I'm pretty sure. And then the rest of the country is 19. So yeah, I think when we were in Halifax, I think we tried to pull some strings, and they were pretty strict on it. So we ended up just I don't know where they got it, but they just got some drinks, and they rented out that ballroom at the hotel kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Big open area, conference room, whatever they call it. So friends,
Yeah.
family, whoever we wanted to invite, we kind of just had that room for the night. And
Those are the best parties after winning though.
it was so much better than going to a bar. It
Oh
really was.
yeah, when you're just
Yeah.
with the people that y'all did it
It
with, you
it
don't want to
was it
be
was
with
just the
randoms.
players, the coach,
Yeah.
the staff, the organization, the families. And yeah, no, it was that like looking back, obviously we tried to get into a bar and it didn't work. And then and then ended up being on a.
Yeah. So next poster pick is that your family? You're sitting on chairs in your Husky jersey. I think you might be having a Coors banquet with. Is that your old man?
That would be me and my old man having a Coors banquet, and that's my mom and my sister there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was after. I don't even know which one that was after, but
Right.
yeah, I think obviously all the parents were able to come down and just coolers on coolers on coolers and ask
Yeah.
my dad if you wanted one. And
Yeah, for sure.
he
No,
wasn't
and
shy.
that's
He wasn't
great that
shying
they got
away.
to be there for that. And so like they wouldn't have been able to see it very much if you're 25 hours away, right?
No, not at all, really. So we usually got to about a week to go home at Christmas time, and then yeah, that was really it. I think yeah,
Yeah.
it's I really didn't see them much through those through 17 to 20 there. And then
Yeah.
that was really nice about that was a really nice part about going to Cape Breton. I think the organization obviously knew that I was really far from home, and Cape Breton was only 4.5, 5 hours away from home, and they were a contending team. So I think yeah, I really appreciated that trade, and you know,
Wow.
getting to experience that. And obviously it would have been awesome to finish my career in Rouen and play the whole time there. But yeah, I think it was really cool to be able to go home to Nova Scotia, go home, have my
Yeah.
family
And it's
see me
nice
play a
that
little bit
you
more.
won near them. You could have won the league up in Rouen and
Exactly. Yeah.
like that they were there with you. But like for me, it's just interesting thinking about that because like my kid can play and he's young, but like to think that it's not that far till he's 15 or 16, like he's 10 now. Like that's not that
Yeah.
far away. And like he's just at camp for the week right now, and I haven't seen him all week. And I'm like, what do I do with myself now? Like when he's not here. And then it's like to think that like as soon as you leave, you're just gone and you're home for Christmas. Like to think of that in the parents' eyes, man. Weird.
Yeah. I think it'll probably sneak up on you, I bet.
Oh yeah, yeah, it will. So on your jerseys, you're usually number 25 or 20. What are you wearing in Manchester?
I'm wearing I think number 9 in Manchester. It hasn't been confirmed. That's what I put as my first option. And then
So
Johnny,
why number 9 for your first option?
I wore it when I was a kid, and then usually my usual number honestly is 27. I wear that when I can, but yeah, 27 when I got to Rouen it wasn't there, and then we had a pretty old team and I didn't have a lot of options for numbers. So
I
I
hear
went with
you.
25, and then I just never bothered changing it. And then I think I got to Maine, and there was a Hinam name bar on number 20, and I didn't bother saying anything. So
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
I'm not a huge numbers guy, but I wore number 9 when I was growing up playing minor hockey in Cole Harbour. So I put that as my first option, and then Johnny Corneo was actually filling the sheet out the next day, and he said 9 wasn't an option for him. So
Oh, so
I think I got it. I don't know.
yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe I can ask Skinner.
Yeah, we'll see. Not a big numbers
Yeah,
guy. I
it
don't
doesn't
really
matter to
care.
you that much, eh?
No.
Some people are right into it, right? Like some people are right into it.
Yeah, I think if I would have been able to keep the same numbers my whole life, I'm sure I'd be a little
Right.
more upset about it.
Yeah.
But
It's like for my kid, he's
I've
been
had 10 different
14
numbers
every
now.
year. And for me, yeah, he's been 14 every year. And to think that year where he's not gonna be able to get it, it's gonna be funny because he's gonna be pissed off.
Yeah.
So who is the fella on the poster you're golfing with?
Well, I'm golfing
Tough
with.
question, eh?
That would be my best friend. His name's Jack. So I grew up playing hockey with him. Played pretty much every year together from when we were about 5 until we were about 15.
Nice. So
And
he's
then
back there. So you see him in the summers.
yeah, no, I'm actually heading out. We're playing in a 2-man scramble golf tournament this weekend. He's still my best friend to this day. I think that picture was last summer at the tournament. So it's yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. He's my best friend, and
Yeah.
I
So
thought
2-man scramble. Are you guys good? Are you gonna compete for the championship?
he's a player. He's a stick. I
Yeah.
haven't been golfing as much as I'd like to this year, and I'm probably not the best
You're
to
a
begin with.
support
So
guy. You're a support
yeah,
guy.
definitely moral support guy.
Are you big off the tee at least for a scramble?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, you're going to be there and you're gonna have fun, right? I'm
Moral
this.
support.
I don't play enough golf to take it competitively at all. You know, I'm just there for moral support too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely more of a fun weekend. So there's a course. It's about 2.5 hours away from where we're at. One of our buddies has a cottage 10 minutes from the course. So we go up. We're leaving tomorrow. We play our practice round in the afternoon.
Oh, this is a
Um,
legit tournament. There's a practice round.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's more of just a free round of golf, and
Right.
we get to go out and have some fun.
I've actually
But
never been out east, but like you got water, you got everything you need, eh? That seems like a
some,
great place to live and be.
some great golf out here for sure. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I should do that more. So growing up in Cole Harbour, how did you get into hockey, or is it just everybody plays hockey like you do around here?
Yeah, I think it's every kid in Canada kind of
Start
plays
they
hockey,
gives it a
and
whirl, right? We'll see who likes
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
my dad was working for the Mooseheads, the local major junior team here too. He was working in the marketing department. That was his first job out of college. So, I think I was probably just around the rinks a little more than the average kid, mixed with getting into hockey, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think I just fell in love with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the research team saw back, I think it was even before under 18, it says you were the top D man in scoring. Were you a D man growing up?
No, I
No.
had to tell this on Eye of the Manchester last week too, or Eye
Uh,
of the Manchester Storm. But no, I think our team was just a little heavy in talent up front and forwards, and a little weaker on the back end. So I was on the roster as a defenseman,
mm,
and I played probably about half the games on D, just
yeah.
if they wanted to play a little bit less
Well, at
fair
that
play.
age, it's good for kids to do both and be able to do it, right? It makes you an all around better player, I think.
Yeah, no, I played about half the games that year on D, and I got a nice award out of it. So
Well, there you go. So then after that, though, it seems like you leave your hometown to play in Halifax. So is that like going single A to triple A type deal?
no, it was just kind of the way it worked was in the city. So Cole Harbour actually has a major midget team, and you get to protect two kids, and they chose not to protect me, and Halifax gave me a phone call about 10 minutes later, and that was that. And
Right.
yeah, so yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get protected by Cole Harbour, so I went to Halifax.
Well, I hear Halifax is a great city too. You know?
Halifax is a great Halifax is awesome, and no, I love my time at the McDonald's there. I think I had in Tim Boyce there. He helped me grow a lot, and those are seriously two of the biggest years of my growing as a hockey player. So I'm happy that I'm happy
You
I didn't
made the
get
move.
protected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it works out right when people,
yeah,
yeah, it was same in like my career. I'd get so wound when teams wouldn't want me back. And then when I look back on it, it's like, well, that's how I met all these people and how I can do this. And like how I ended up in Cardiff and met all the great
exactly.
people. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then you do get drafted fourth round to Rouyn then, eh?
yeah.
So was that about where you were slated? I remember way back then when they would rank, you know, like you're in Bantam hockey and they're ranking you and you and your friends are like, well, what? They used to call it you were an A, a B, or a C, right? I don't know how they did it nowadays.
Yeah, so that was actually after my second year of eligibility. I broke my collarbone twice my first year midget there, and I didn't play too many games, and I definitely didn't have a good stat line. So
You're
I
right.
wasn't expecting to get drafted for that first year. And then I had a good second year midget, and I was actually ranked 9 to 12. And one of my good buddies I was playing lacrosse with at the time, he was ranked in the fourth round. And I was getting pretty hungry, and honestly, I was ready to go get something to eat, and we were pretty ready to leave the rink. And then we were just like, oh, let's just wait for Jordy to get picked, and then we got 5 rounds to kill, and
Yeah.
then we'll come back for round 9 and see what happens. And then I ended up going 2 picks before him out of nowhere in the fourth round. I wasn't listening.
Really, eh? That's
Yeah,
cool.
I was barely listening. I heard Halifax McDonald's, and there was 2 or 3 guys in our team that were ranked ahead of me. So I figured it was going to be those guys. Kind of perked my ears up, and then it was me. And I had to look at the board because I wasn't paying. I didn't even know what team drafted me. I had to look
That's
at the
really
board and
cool.
see it
Well,
was
they must
Rouyn-Noranda.
have seen something in you, right?
Yeah,
Um,
obviously it worked
that's
out.
that brings back a memory of mine was I never went, never even thought of going because I was like, well, back then, like no little guys were getting drafted really. There'd be the odd one, but they were high end kids that
Yeah,
like, but for me, I was like ranked a C and I was like tiny and I never went and then didn't know I was drafted. And then, you know, back when there was answering machines at your house, I found out I was the very last pick of the draft.
No, like I kid you not, I wasn't planning on going to the draft until about 2 or 3 days before it. And the GM of the St. John Sea Dogs was actually at the rink that I was practicing at in Halifax. And he went up to my dad and he said, like, is Tyler going to be at the draft? And my dad was like, I don't know. Like, he's ranked 9 to 12. Like, I don't know if we want to go. And if he doesn't get picked, it'll be pretty disappointing and be a pretty crappy day to drive all the
Yeah.
way over there, sit through 14 rounds of kids and not get drafted. But he kind of gave my dad, he was like, don't worry about it. Bring him
Yeah.
over and he'll get drafted. So I thought I was going to St. John like the 12th.
And
And,
I think
yeah, no,
I think guys the rankings aren't always what they're supposed to be, especially there's teams that like get to know a kid or the family and the character, and then like they know what they're getting, then the rankings, you know?
yeah, I think yeah, they definitely reached according to the CSR ranking. So I'm glad that it hit.
Well, it's pretty cool. So you went fourth round.
Questionable pick.
Well, you went fourth round and then you do make the team. And we talked about playing against the big boys in your rookie year, but you guys ended up playing 13 playoff games, or you did.
Yeah, no, we actually had a really good team that year. We had a few like future NHLers and stuff like that. Like we had a real solid team that year. And we actually got upset. We came second out of 18 teams in the league that year. And we lost in game 7 double OT in the second round.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was definitely disappointing. I think we definitely had a shot at, I thought, winning the entire league that year. But yeah, no, I played 13 playoff games. I don't know how many shifts were in there, but
Yeah. I understand.
I dressed for all 13. That was nice.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, when you're the first year guy at those ages, man, it's like when I went to Brampton, who drafted me last, and they had told the Billets I'd made the team. I was on it. I was moving in, and I was like, what? I didn't even think I was coming here to be here. I was just coming for the experience. And then like it came down to like, well, I knew I wasn't like a first liner or second liner with like Rafi Torres and all these guys out there. And I was like, well, where am I going to fit on this team? And like I always thought I was going to try and get a scholarship, but then when they tell me I make the team, and I'm like, well, I don't know how much I'm going to play if I stay here. And I actually chose to leave then, right? Because I didn't see it, and I wanted to do NCAA. But did you ever think about that?
I
Not
did,
many.
yeah. No, I was that year that I ended up playing for Rouyn, I was actually going to go down to a prep school in the States and kind of go that route, because up until that point, I think that there was a lot of interest in the Quebec League. I was undrafted my first year, and then I was ranked 9 to 12,
Yeah.
and like you said, like I think it was June, and I thought I was going 12th round in my second year of eligibility to a local team whose GM was from Halifax. So that was probably half of it, you know.
So here,
I don't think I was. I don't think I really planned on going that route, and then everything kind of happened really quickly that summer, and I ended up playing in Rouen.
wow. And then when they take you fourth round, they're showing you that they want you, and it feels good to be wanted as a hockey player, right?
100%. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I've learned over the last few years is no matter where you want to go, I think the best place for you is just where you're wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the people who want you the most will probably end up playing you the most, and you'll feel most comfortable and excited to play for them because they wanted you, right?
100%.
One name that jumped out at me though when we talk about the high end guys you brought in the year you won it, Noah Dobson from the Islanders. Small world is my son and I were huge Islanders fans because Tom Kuhnhackl was on the team, and I knew him from Landshut, Germany. And we went to watch the Islanders, and that's the fellow that gave my son a puck during warmup.
No way. Well, I'll Dobby's a great dude. We're still pretty close today. I actually went over to a concert over in PEI this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, and he was nice enough to let me crash on his couch. So save me a hotel bill.
Yeah, for sure.
But, no, he's doing pretty well for himself.
Well, he is. And like I always say, shed guys are from certain bubbles around the world, and they're not from every town or city. But out there, you guys just brought one back for me. Is another guy that said Noah Dobson's a fantastic dude was Mark Flood, who's out that way too. Do you know him?
I've obviously heard of the name. I've never met him before, but yeah, I've heard he's from PEI, correct?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
played with him in the A, and then he went on to play in the KHL, the NHL, and he was just a sweet dude too.
Yeah, I know the name, know the hockey player, but I've never met the person. No.
Right. But anyways, I think it's neat when like the players that take the time to give kids the pucks, and whether it's the NHL, whether it's the EIHL, those are the guys you want on your team. And yeah, figured he was a shed guy.
Yeah, no, Noah's a great dude, and yeah, he was a huge reason we won that year. I think fun little fact, I think he played 39 minutes in the national semifinal, and then they reined him back in a bit. He only played 36 in the Mem Cup final. So
Oh, and at those ages when there's some studs, right?
uh
Like they have to be on the ice and it looks so easy for them. You're like, God, we're all out here trying so hard, and you just go out
effortless.
there all game long and it's just easy.
I think he's on his 37th minute of ice time in the semifinals, and then you look on the ice and he's on a breakaway. You're like, how are you skating right now?
Yeah. It was honestly when I went to NCAA and we played Michigan State, John Michael Lyles was the same. It was watch, and he was playing against us, and he would just like skate through us and then pass it back door to a guy. And you're like, we're playing NCAA out here. Like that shouldn't be that easy.
Yeah, seriously, he was a horse. It was crazy. It
Uh
was unbelievable
well,
to
goalies
watch.
win championships. Samuel Harvey. He looked for me, it's always interesting when the research team gets hot. There's goalies that win. There's goalies that don't always win. There's goalies that save percentages are always above 900. And then I see guys that were always considered prospects and always given chances that literally hardly ever have save percentages over 900. This Samuel Harvey fella seems like a winner. Every year he does
Unreal.
good. He wins everywhere. And that year he played 20 games in the playoffs, a 1.97 goals against, a 924 save percentage. And now I see he's finally at least getting his due. He's going to the Finnish Elite League.
Yeah, long overdue. I think I don't think many people have won more championships than that guy, and I think obviously he's been a huge part of all of them. I think
Isn't
he
it weird
won.
though? And then you get goalies
Yeah,
that don't they maybe the goalies are 6'6" or whatever and move really well, but isn't it about winning and stopping pucks? You know?
I'll take Sam on my team any day of the week.
Yeah. Well, you can I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, long overdue. He's one hell of a goalie, and he wins and he
Well, and
stops.
he's worked his way up, right? Like you
Yeah,
look at a guy that's winning Memorial Cups, and then he started out in like at the coast, and you're like, well, why? You know?
yeah. I think he's got two Presidents Cups, a Memorial Cup, a few U Sports National Championships. Like
Wild.
he wins.
He wins, folks.
Yeah,
Winners win, right?
teams
So
with
you
good
were
starting goalies win.
I got getting traded. So you wanted to be traded, or you were good with getting traded because some of those teams really stack up for a Mem Cup run, and then it just ruins them for years after, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't ask out, but I was more than okay with obviously getting traded
Yeah.
to a contender close to home in an English community. That in my opinion, they were one hell of a team. We played them in the first half and they spanked us like 8-2. So that's a pretty good team.
Well, you just brought that up in English community, so I guess Rouen was French.
Quite French, yeah.
So it is different out east, right? There's French areas, there's English areas, and it's all kind of
Yeah, I think that's definitely one thing that separates the Q from the O and the Dub is kind of like the maritime kids. If you get drafted to a French community, it's either that or NCAA. So
yeah.
I chose to just embrace it, and I didn't know a lick before really going there, but they put me in with an English billet. They put me in with my first year. I actually lived with two other players. That was a bit of a gong show, obviously, in the
Yeah.
house, but they were both English and they were both older and helped me out and kind of taught me the ropes. One of them was bilingual, so he ordered most
Are
of my.
you saying it was three players and no parents, no adults?
Oh no, there was a couple like
So that's a
yeah.
lot to take. You ever think of like the billets in the hockey world? They're taking on a lot.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable what they do, especially in junior hockey. It's like junior hockey wouldn't be able to function without them. So I
No.
think, yeah, billet families are definitely special, and I was fortunate enough to have a couple of good ones over my time in junior.
I couldn't imagine just bringing in a random dude that's 16 to 20 years old that's
It'd be
probably
scary.
going to be playing hockey and then going out and running amok at night and then coming back just pickled. It'd be hilarious, actually, but don't think I need that in my life.
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be a bit of a scare. I'm sure you're not sure really what type of kid you're gonna get.
Yeah, you could get any
And once you
kind.
got him, you're probably you're pretty much stuck with them. So
Yeah. Oh, and then I remember back when I played, like there would be billet issues with guys, right? Like they wouldn't get along, and you'd have to find different places, and so
yeah, obviously you definitely heard of horror stories. I personally never had any. I had three awesome billet families throughout my 4 years. So um I'm still really tight, really tight with one of them. The one that was in Rouen when we won, and I was in that house for 2.5 years. I spent that first year in a house with two other guys, and then I moved out on my own for my second year with a
I
different family.
I always find that the guys you win with, you stay closest with. I don't know what it's like been like for you. That's been a few years now, but
Yeah, it's been close to 4 years, and that group chat
still alive, eh?
a
Yeah.
little bit. So
I
yeah, no, I think nothing brings you they're quite like winning, and yeah, that year was definitely special, and I'll cherish that year forever, 100%.
The winning does that. It's like our Elmira Kings that won the Sutherland Cup way back when I was 17 or 18, and it's 22 years now, and we have a group chat again. It fired up a couple years ago, and then I had a golf tournament. And a bunch of fellas came to my 2 Ales and Hockey Tales tournament,
No
and
way.
yeah, and this group chat is still alive and well, and it is fun to be back in touch.
Well, I hope in 22 years our group chat's still buzzing.
Yeah, there could be some funny things, especially when
Yeah.
you've taken 15 years off.
Yeah. I'm sure the boys will add a few pounds by then.
But the thing is once you see each other, everybody's still the same. It's crazy, actually, because
Yeah.
that's how it started. We had a reunion because we were supposed to have a 20-year reunion, but all the baloney was going on, so we did it over Zoom, and that's how it all started again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that baloney brought some good out in the world, though.
Hey, it started the shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working from home, sitting in my shed. And then, you weren't able to do anything. I wasn't able to see any of my friends. I'm living in a new town. And I was like, I really miss all the guys I met all over the world. And why can't I do that? Right.
Yeah.
That was my big moment, was like, why can't I do this? Why can everybody else do stuff? And why can't I ever do it? And then the anxiety was like putting myself out there and what people would think and say. And you know what? It's gone really well putting myself out there. So
What are we 300 episodes deep now?
yeah. And there's people thought I might run out of people. That is the opposite of what's happened, folks.
I don't think that'll happen in the hockey world.
It won't, because especially when you can bring back guys, like I meet a young guy like you, and if I take a shine, when I take a shine to you today, like you seem like the type of guy I'd want on my team. And I knew Ginner was going to be bringing guys like that over, but then you're not going to stay in Manchester your whole career. You're going to bob and weave and do different things. And it's like, you can talk about so much stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'd like to play hockey for a long time still, and I'm sure the next 10 years won't all be Manchester Storm, but I'm looking forward to this upcoming year, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and it'll be neat for you, right? When like this chocolate
Yeah.
thing actually happens, and like imagine a Mars bar flying out, someone trying to hit you in the head with a Mars bar, and then you look at it and it says "Fur Shed Guy Tyler," right?
That'd be pretty sweet.
I think so too. So what else do I got then? I guess so. Why Acadia? And did you ever think of pro right off the hop instead of going there?
Obviously kind of crossed my mind a little bit, but it was again during all that blown. So I think it made the most sense to go to Acadia. My dad actually went to Acadia. He played soccer there.
Okay.
So that was kind of a little connection.
And it's right in Halifax, right?
It's about an hour outside. So there's two universities right in Halifax, but I honestly kind of wanted to get away. I don't really need to go to university in my hometown. So
no. So you know what's interesting for me is now I've moved to where we vacationed as a family. We now live in Kincardine where our cottage was. So now if I go to the cottage and I go to town, I know everybody. It's not like being on vacation.
Yeah, no. So I kind of, just from the start, I didn't really want to go to either of the Halifax schools. And then Acadia, they gave me a pretty good offer before I even left for my 20-year junior. So I think like deep down, Acadia was my number one pick, and they gave me a great deal. So in my head, I was like, what am I waiting for? So
Yeah.
I committed to them a year early, pretty much, and then yeah, I just kind of played my 20-year-old season
Knowing you
pretty
were doing
stress
that.
free. Obviously, I wanted to try to play what I could and win as much as I could, and maybe get a pro contract. But I knew that, I had a good situation waiting for me at Acadia afterwards, and that kind of made my 20-year a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it was good.
Well, it is when the pressure's off, it is kind of nice. It's like when I signed my scholarship and then I had the playoffs and then one more season left, right? And I
Yeah,
knew that last season that like I was good, I was fine, right?
yeah, exactly. So I actually committed to Acadia a year early. Just they were going to be my number one pick, and they gave me a good deal. So what am I going to play hardball? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I said, yeah, I'll be there next September. Sounds good.
But that for I always think of this though, like I didn't experience it at your age, but when you do go to university, I don't know what Acadia's like. I know what Western Michigan's like, and the parties were electric. The things you could do when you weren't a hockey player were so much gosh darn fun, and your experience at school with the baloney would have been different, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think
And you won't have that experience now because like you missed it, right? Like
yeah, I think over my year and a half at Acadia, I think we had one night at the college bar, and if you weren't on the dance floor, I think you had to have a mask on. So it was pretty pathetic.
if
I,
you weren't on the dance floor, you had to have a mask on. But if you go out on the dance floor, you can just muck it up, no mask.
I don't know the exact
Yeah.
ruling or what it was, but it was something silly, and it was some sort of that baloney where
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
There was some weird
I
stuff
definitely
going
didn't.
on with the rules, man.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the full college media
No.
experience that I think most people got.
Yeah, and it's sad to hear that because like what I think of Western Michigan, we didn't win any championships. We weren't very good when I was there. So the great memories I have were at the bar and watching the fellows run amok at the dance floor, you know?
Yeah. So, we hung out a lot with the team. We got close with the guys.
Yeah.
And we
How
kind of,
much practicing and bag skating was it then if you weren't playing games? Were you guys even allowed to practice and like try and work on stuff?
yeah, that was, I think, a part of the frustrating part of the first year is they were kind of, we were practicing, and we were doing like Monday, 6 a.m. lifts and 4 practices a week. And they're telling us like, we got to get ready for January. Like the season's going to start up. And then
And then it
everything
doesn't.
just keeps getting pushed a month and a month. And it was like, we've been practicing for 4 months straight, 4 days a week, and doing everything like we're in season. And then nothing happened.
Right. And then it's like you can't stay at peak condition all the time. You got to ramp up for the start of the season and be there so you can maintain it throughout the year. You can't, I don't know, that's for me at least.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was definitely a weird year. We were practicing a lot, and we were skating a lot, but it was just like
And practicing sucks compared to playing games.
practicing sucks compared to playing games when you don't even know when you're going to be playing a game.
Yeah. I didn't mind like and well, you'll see in Europe, but like Tuesday practices usually suck. And then Wednesdays are better and Thursdays are fun. But like games are why you play hockey, right?
100%. Even in North America, those weeks that we didn't have a Wednesday game, those Monday and Tuesday battle days weren't too fun.
No. Yeah, Western Michigan was nuts that way. But anywho, so then you do leave, and why the Maine Mariners? Is that your agent setting that up, or why Maine?
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of my agent. I told him like, look, man, I'm done with this. Like I gotta play some hockey. So basically it was like so like I said, we were practicing and lift doing everything full on, full tilt that whole year with the understanding from our coaching staff and kind of from outsider source. Like just people were kind of saying like we're gonna play, and then we never played.
Yeah.
And then we go back the next year, and then I personally miss a majority of the first half of the season, and then we go right back to this baloney stuff. We're like,
Yeah.
don't worry, guys, we're gonna play in 6 weeks. I was like, oh, I've heard this song before.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
these
so
people
so
are
I
playing now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't have much faith in the U Sports program and the U Sports circuit that they were gonna get that up and running because from personal experience, I was there for a year and they couldn't get it going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? So I was just like, I got to play some hockey.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I think maybe things would have been different if I was healthier that whole first half, and I had 12 games, 15 games under my belt. But for
Yeah.
me, it's been
Two years.
almost 2 years where I've played like one or two hockey games. I'm like this.
Yeah.
I'm a hot. Like I got to
Yeah.
play some hockey. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I left it. I called my agent. I was like, look, find me somewhere to play.
Yeah.
I'm ready to leave, kind of thing. And then he called me back 9 hours away from home, quick rip down to Maine, and they'd love to have you. So I kind of packed my bags within a couple days, headed down there, and then finished the year with them. And I loved it. It was a great group of dudes, great city, great coaching staff, great organization. I got nothing but good things to say about Maine there. And then
And you guys were a playoff team both years, it looks like, eh?
yeah, no, we like obviously winning's fun and winning brings you together. And we had some
You nailed it. Winning is fun.
yeah, winning's fun. And we won a lot of hockey games. It was fun to be there. And so obviously I signed there for my next year. And then this offseason, things obviously went differently.
So when you did first get to Maine though, because I know the university kids leave and they show up and you already have your lines, you already have your power plays, your penalty kill guys. Where did they slot you in right off the hop when you got there?
It was funny. It was a pretty quick awakening to pro hockey. So I had barely played in 2 years, and they had some injuries. They had some guys called up to the A, and we were going to a 3-3. And he was like, just he kind of like brought me in the office. He was like, we're only rolling 9 forwards tonight. Like, are you good to play? Like, just like, I think he was being nice. Like, you haven't played in a while. You're gonna play with 9 forwards in your first pro hockey game. Like, you ready for that? Like, you
Yeah.
good? And I was like, no, like I'm good to go. So I show up to the rink the next day, ready to go. I think I'm playing my first game. 4 guys get sent down that morning. It's like, you're actually gonna sit tonight. So like, this is how this works. So yeah, no, in a matter of 12 hours, I went from thinking I was playing my first game with 9 forwards to sitting in the stands that first night. So yeah, I think it was a pretty way that's how pro hockey works. And so I just tried to make the most of it when I got in the lineup, and obviously things worked out.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you did get your chance, you were ready then, eh?
Yeah.
Because you did put up points, and like I found that the adjustment from NCAA to pro was harder than I was anticipating.
Me too. Yeah. I think the strength, the sheer strength, like you're playing against men. And
I found it was that, but also the stick and body positioning was just like when you're trying to make plays, the guy's sticks were always in the way. Where in college, they'd be up in the air and the habits just weren't as good. And like, I guess that's how guys stay in pro, right? They have the good habits and stick habits and all that stuff, right?
yeah, I think that's something you learn quick. You're like, every single guy in pro hockey can play. So
Yeah.
everybody knows what they're doing. So you gotta really work for everything you're gonna get. You have to earn every inch on that ice. And yeah, no, I learned that obviously pretty quick. And obviously going in, I think I was 22 and 190 pounds. Like I wasn't a man, and I was against men. So you had to kind of learn new ways to get around guys, new ways to kind of maneuver on the ice. It was obviously a little bit of a learning curve there, but I think I picked it up pretty quick.
Well, you definitely have picked it up because there's some guys that don't though, right? That like were really good at the level before and they just can't adjust and find new ways to be successful. You definitely did that. But like you notice it when like the research team gets hot. So Manchester next season, you guys aren't going to have 48 skaters on your roster. That main team had 48 skaters.
Yeah, no,
that's not even goalies, folks. That's just skaters.
No, this coast can be quite the carousel. And then
nuts.
The guys are getting hurt, guys are getting called up, guys are getting sent home. You see a lot of faces throughout the year when you're playing the coast.
Yeah, and then there's like the core of like, well, this is our team, and then we're just gonna keep bringing in dudes.
Yeah, you got your 15, 18 guys, and then it's just like a carousel of those last 3 or 4 guys just coming through every week.
And you meet some interesting cats too. At least I did.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so it would have meant quite a bit though when you had your 2 years off. You make the decision to go pro. You do good that second half, your first year, but then to actually get called up to the EIHL as an undrafted, just any coast player can get called up. They picked you out of everybody in the coast. That would have been a good day, eh?
Yeah, no, I went to Belleville's training camp, and I think I left a good impression there. Obviously didn't make the team. You know, how pro hockey works. It's a
Yeah.
contract business, and I
Well,
think
yeah,
going to that camp, I knew that
you were
you look
making the
around,
team because you.
and you count the contracts. Like I'm not making this team, but
Mhm.
I hope I can at least impression and we get a chance one day. And I guess, yeah, I think I had a good camp, and I came ready to go and left an impression where I think they had an injury that very next week. So I got cut obviously the last round of cuts in training camp there, sent back to Maine, and then I think their opening weekend forward got hurt, so I was able to
Oh, it was right off the hop then. So yeah,
yeah, no,
you
it
were
was
right on the radar, and then you did
yeah,
well the rest of that year too, eh?
yeah. So I went back to Maine for about 4 or 5 days. I was just in Maine's training camp, and then before our season in Maine even started, um, Bell called me up, and I was there for a few weeks until I was back down with Maine for the rest of the year.
And so Belleville and Maine, those aren't that close.
No, they're not, and it's not even the same organization. I think it was just it was
It
just
was just from that training camp then.
I think it was just from that training camp. I think I
And then that's what's interesting about being part of the organization and not, right? Is like now the AHL is with the coast usually, or a team, and the season would have started, and then maybe someone on their East Coast team is having a season. It's like, well, we probably should call him up instead of the guy out in Maine again, right?
Yeah, so I think like in Maine, our AHL team was Providence. So a lot of our guys were affiliated with Providence and stuff. And then yeah, it was I think Belleville's ECHL team was Allen down in Texas. So that's quite the trek. So
Yeah, it is. That doesn't make
yeah,
any
so
sense.
I think maybe Belleville's a little less strict on which teams they're calling up from.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, so I guess yeah, you got that HL call up. One guy you played with, I think it's in Maine, was the goalie of Manchester last year, eh? Broder.
Broads, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there my first year in Maine. He was one of the funnier guys in that dressing room. I miss Broads, and yeah, obviously I saw he's not coming back here, but Broads was a pretty good man for the Manchester Storm. So I think I took what he said pretty seriously about the team and the organization and the city and stuff, and he had nothing but good things to say about Manchester. And yeah, no, Broads is an awesome teammate and an awesome dude and a great player too. So
Well, that's good. I
yeah.
never did get him in the shed to find out what chocolate he wanted, but I guess that ship has sailed now. But I wonder, it's just interesting for me because the guys I never did have on, and there's too many guys on the team to have everybody on, especially working a real job and being a parent and a coach and all that. Is like, I'm curious what other dudes think of it when like they win and then all of a sudden chocolate comes flying out of everywhere.
Yeah, I'm happy I at least got the heads up. I think I would have been pretty confused there after our first win, and fans are
Well,
littering the ice with
I was
chocolate.
wondering what
What's
you're
going
gonna
on?
think when, as soon as you're announced that you signed with Manchester, then all of a sudden my creepy ass starts texting you.
No, you weren't one of the creepy ones. It's
Oh,
okay.
good. I'm a sponsor of the team.
Well, that's good.
You're right. I'm pretty much part of this. Have you ever heard of the Greggy bus?
Is that like the team bus driver?
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
it's his bus. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently it's a fun bus.
Yeah,
I've got a tour of it. He's even been on the pod.
I heard the team has a sweet bus, and like the
Yeah.
travel's pretty good. No, I've heard really good things about Manchester and about the travel, everything.
Well, people, especially Cardiff fans, because that's where I played. That's my team. They're probably wondering why I'd be sponsoring a Manchester jersey and not a Cardiff jersey. Well, I think Cardiff has enough money to win the championship. I want to support you guys. You're playing in the arena just like we played in Cardiff when I played there. And you guys remind me of who we were. But then my first experience, well, I played one game as a player in Manchester, and then I blew up my knee and I was done forever. So the next time I went to Manchester, I was just a pregame speaker. I showed up with the fan bus, and the guy parking the bus. So I was going to be a Viking that night. As the pregame speaker, I had an axe, a sword, and a shield, and the only thing I was missing was like headwear, because naturally I'd do it naked, right? So so when the guy's helping park the bus in Manchester, he's wearing a Viking like hat, like a winter hat that's a Viking hat with horns and everything. And I said, dude, this is just like fate. I'm like, can I use your hat for a pregame speech? I could really use it, and I'll give it back when I'm done. He goes, yeah, mate, like, hockey family, just give it back when you're done. And then all of a sudden I had a Viking helmet for my pregame speech, and it was just a nice dude in Manchester that did that. And he said hockey family. And now I'm actually part of the Manchester hockey family, you know?
Well, let's appreciate the support.
Where the sword and the shield?
I appreciate the support.
Oh, I thought, yeah, you cut out for a second there. Yeah,
No,
no,
sorry.
I appreciate the support of like when they throw out chocolate. It's like, I'm a part of this. And like, if you guys go on a heater next year and start winning some stuff, I can feel like I'm a part of it. Right.
Yeah. If we go on a heater, I might put on a few pounds, but
Wow. Shed boost. Right.
have to get on the bike the next morning, I guess.
Chocolate's not it's not bad to after a game. Chocolate's good for you. It's, it's when you guys start winning and running amok, it's just don't, the days off, just don't get too carried away all the time, right? Because then it catches up to you. Because when you're winning, fun is fun, right?
Fun is fun.
Yeah. But seriously, I can't wait to watch how you guys do, and welcome to the team.
Thank you very much. I'm seriously pumped, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I don't know why it was. Maybe it was because I saw you're from Nova Scotia. As soon as you signed and I saw you're from Nova Scotia, I'm like, I bet you he's a Shed guy. And I wasn't wrong again.
Well,
good work, Ginner. I appreciate your recruiting techniques. Way to go. Keep it up, right?
Yeah. I'm pumped. And I've heard that was another selling point from some of the guys I asked I asked kind of what the dressing room's like and what the coaching staff's like, what's the organization like, not just hockey wise, but like, am I gonna have a good life outside the rink too? And they said like, hell yeah, like great group of dudes, great city, great place to just live and be a human outside of being a hockey player.
And Ginner's the type of guy I'd want to play for. And Finner as the top dog, he's as competitive as they get, and he wants to win, and he's also a Shed guy. And it's like, that's a good recipe,
Yeah, I think the coaches, I think for me personally, I think I'd rather have a coach that's young and relatable and somebody that you want to run through a wall with more than you're just scared to make a mistake and scared of disappointing them or something like that. I think it all just kind of works better if everybody's on the same page and we're all just kind of pushing towards a common goal. And I think from what I've heard, that's what Ginner's all about, and I'm looking forward to it.
I 100% agree with that, because I went through a lot of the hard times with coaches. And then when you get to that side of it, especially when I got older, and like I was older than our player coach in Cardiff, and when I felt like we were on the same page and we were all doing it together, and he was like, this is our team, we're doing this together, and he would ask our opinions and our thoughts, or he would ask everybody's of like, and then he would take whatever we said and try and make the best decision. I think that's just hockey, that's life. And the coaches that just decided they knew what they were doing and knew what was up, like, you're not getting all the facts, and you're not getting players to buy in, and it's just not.
No.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have 20 guys laying down, blocking shots, going balls out for guys like that. I think that what takes you to win is everybody. And if everybody's on the same page and pulling on the same rope, I think that's when special stuff happens. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I think
you sound like you've won before.
Yeah, I just think I think the dinosaur coaches are a little outdated, and I'm happy that Ginner's not one of them.
I agree. And that's why I support the Storm, folks. But I do like the Devils too. They're still my two teams. I'll never forget what Cardiff did, folks. So don't worry. But buy your raffle tickets at ailshockeytales.com to support Critch and the Storm, right? And then we can run amok against all these big budget teams, right?
Perfect.
And I got one last question as an aspiring coach. What is your favorite drill in practice?
I think as a forward, I like any sort of like 2-on-1.
Yeah,
like stress free. Come down the wing,
make some plays, score some goals.
Make some plays, have some fun. I don't know if I have a special one, but I like some 2-on-1s.
I agree. Good answer. And this has been another episode of 2 L's and Hockey Tales with Heine and Wally.